This episode is brought to you by Fox One. Watch all 104 matches of the FIFA World Cup live in 4K for just $19.99 a month with 3 days free. Build your own multi-view, choose up to 3 streams, and follow player spotlights. Stay on top of every moment with live stats, highlights, and instant replays. The FIFA World Cup, streaming live on Fox One. Offers are subject to change. See fox.com for complete terms and conditions.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, lots of activity tied to Iran. Just coming out from the White House that they're saying that Iran is going to allow nuclear inspectors, and that will include international representatives as well as the U.S., and that is supposed to be unfettered access to go check out the nuclear materials. So this would be a big breakthrough if indeed they will allow the inspectors. On the surface, you kind of go, okay, that sounds good, but I don't trust anything the Iranians are saying. Actions will only prove the results. No words, just actions. And in the meantime, President Trump says that also the Strait of Hormuz is open for business. We know that about 15 ships came through just in the last day or so. It looks like there is a lot of traffic that's happening. So that's good news. And at least they're talking. Let's see if they can actually bring Iran to the table. Iran saying all the right things. So far, there was no also military action between Israel and Hezbollah for one night. But that's a big breakthrough in the Middle East, especially as someone like me. I've covered the Middle East a long time. That actually is a big deal because it's like all the time they are throwing barbs at each other. And here is President Trump saying that the Strait of Hormuz is working and it's going to go smoothly. Take a listen.
We're doing very well with respect to the Hormuz Strait. We took in more oil yesterday than has ever gone through the strait. You probably see that we have an oil gusher. The strait is totally open. You know that, and we're negotiating. We'll see how that all goes. But we have two things: we have an open strait, and we have a country that will never have a nuclear weapon. Will never, ever have a nuclear weapon.
And President Trump said that is the priority. I hope you all had a great weekend and a good Father's Day. Welcome to the Rita Cosby Show. Well, here is J.D. Vance, the vice president, who really had a marathon session. He flew over to Switzerland, had meetings with the Pakistanis and the Qataris and the Iranians. And he is the one who essentially came out and talked about these inspectors. And again, this could be a big deal if indeed it does happen. Here is the vice president announcing that.
These negotiations that you believe that people are not always acting in good faith. Have things changed over the past 36 hours during your meeting with Iran and the other mediaries?
No, all I mean is, look, whether good faith or bad faith, you can't trust anybody's words. You have to trust what they actually do. Letting in the inspectors is a big deal, but again, we're going to see what they actually let the inspectors do once they're in the country. That's going to continually be a part of our negotiation. So my point is not that I trust or distrust anybody. My point is that I trust actions. And what the president has asked us to do is verify what they're doing, focus less on what they're saying.
And that's a good thing. Because clearly the actions are the only things that matter. They can sit there and talk till everybody's blue in the face. But unless they actually carry it out, I do believe it's different. They know President Trump is going to bomb the heck out of them. And they know that President Trump means it when he says, you better do it or else. It's a little different than, remember Joe Biden saying don't and Barack Obama with a $1.7 billion of cash in the middle of the night. No anytime, anywhere inspections. And here is Bill O'Reilly talking about how this is serious stakes for President Trump, and the message to Iran is also really serious.
There are only two options left for President Trump. Two. They either let the weapons inspectors in to look at the uranium, or he is going to bomb them in a way that is ferocious. There's no other ground. None. He's got to do one or the other. And I'm betting that the mullahs know that.
The mullahs definitely know that. They're watching the news. They're also seeing, hey, if they can keep kind of straggling this out as it gets closer and closer to the midterms. But President Trump is making it clear the priority is no nukes, even a greater priority than obviously the economy in America. He says world freedom's at stake. If he can have both, that's a good thing, because he's obviously watching gas prices. He's trying to balance the two. But he's not going to walk away from Iran being able to get a nuclear weapon. He says that is non-negotiable. And the Iranians know it. And meantime, speaking of non-negotiable, boy, oh boy, this is a lot that's on the line. Tomorrow night, there are big primaries taking place. And we got some early numbers coming in, and this is for the New York one.
Breaking news.
And tomorrow night, there are a whole bunch of different primaries. You got voters in New York, Maryland, Utah. They're headed for primary elections. And also South Carolina is going to be heading to polls in a runoff election for governor and also for Congress. On the New York front, because a lot of people are looking at it, there are three very extreme progressive candidates that are on the ballot, that are trying to make their way on the ballot. And a lot of people see it as a referendum on the Democratic Socialist of America, the extreme Democratic Socialists of America. If you look at the background of these candidates, they're like abolish ICE. One of them says abolish prisons. One says that nobody should be deported, even violent criminals. Do these people have a screw loose or what? Well, what they do have is the endorsement of Zoran Mamdani. Listen to this. This is the mayor of New York.
Your word choice, though, monsters. Do you have any regret? Would you clarify or apologize for that?
So, I was quoting Gramsci, who said that the old world is dying and the new world struggles to be born. Now is the time of monsters. I used the term to describe all those who are preventing the birth of a new world.
The birth of a new world, and his birth of a new world does not include any funding for Israel in any shape or form. AIPAC, which is the big lobby for Israel, and they spend a lot of money on candidates because they want to have people still supporting Israel. And Zoran Mamdani sure isn't on the list. That is for sure. He doesn't mince any words. It's pretty incredible. Take a listen to this. This is what he said about AIPAC, the big, powerful Jewish lobby, over the weekend. And here's what he actually said just a few hours ago, because he's rallying. He realizes this big election tomorrow night, and we'll be on live probably when the results are coming in, guys. He sees it as a referendum on getting candidates like-minded to him. In other words, he wants to start a national trend. He firmly believes that if he can get some of these folks in very kind of comfortable blue districts, Democrat districts, it's the beginning of the Democratic Socialist takeover of the Democratic Party. And boy, everything is about hating Israel. Listen to this one.
Some members of the Jewish community, including Democratic Congressman Josh Gottheimer, were alarmed by the language you used at the rally last week, calling AIPAC monsters who move dark money. These are phrases that invoke old anti-Semitic tropes and conspiracy theories. What do you say to those who are concerned that the language you used is dangerous?
Now, I want to be very clear. We're talking about a status quo where children are being killed on a daily basis. More than 1,000 Palestinians have been killed by the Israeli military since the so-called ceasefire. Even an Al Jazeera journalist, Ahmed Wishah, was killed this past Saturday by an Israeli strike. And when I am speaking about AIPAC, I'm speaking about an organization that has been supportive of the status quo, that has fought any attempt to actually deliver safety to people not just in Palestine, but frankly, through much of the region. And it is a status quo for immorality. It is one that I will not accept. And when it comes to the way in which they defend the status quo, oftentimes they defend it through direct contributions, as we are seeing right now in New York 13. Oftentimes they also support the status quo through dark money, by filtering money that would have previously been directly from AIPAC, now through other shell organizations whose identities of their contributors are only made clear after an election. And I think that it is important that when we ask ourselves how such death and destruction is happening overseas, we also name those who allow it to take place.
All right, we're going to go.
I don't know what's crazier, the comments or the people clapping who think that that's an appropriate statement. Everything is anti-Israel, anti-police, anti-law enforcement. It really is shocking. And he was referring to 13, NY13. That is where Daria-Liza Avila Chevalier, who is running in the New York 13 congressional district, she's trying to unseat Adriano Espaillat, who's a more common sense candidate. He's considered pretty far left, but not like her. She's like left-wing loony. So the question is, will she unseat him tomorrow night? He is a 5-term member of Congress. He's head of the Hispanic caucus. And she believes that ICE should be abolished. She believes also police should be abolished. She's talked about deporting nobody, even if you have a criminal record, come one, come all. That sounds like a really wonderful group.